Second video of this video series of the Tennessee Titans draft picks from the 2022 NFL Draft. I've already done wide receiver Treylon Burks. Go check out that video. This video is going to be on cornerback Roger McCreary out of Auburn. High energy, guys. We're going to keep this high energy 365. We're really excited about the 2023 draft as well. But right now, this draft series talking about cornerback Roger McCreary, the Tennessee Titans took. This guy is somebody that you almost just couldn't deny as being a top flight cornerback in this draft class. People will talk about his length, which will be an issue in moment of truth plays, which I like to call moment of truth plays as the catch point plays against taller, more athletic wide receivers. He's going to be plastered on most receivers that he plays. But when it comes to those moment of truth plays, that length will become an issue. But like I said, this is the good, the bad, and the ugly in that order. The good about Roger McCreary is he will plaster and be around all receivers that he plays. Like there's not going to be very much separation if all things being equal. There's not going to be that much separation between Roger McCreary and the receiver that he's guarding. The biggest issues are going to arise, like I said, with those size differentials. Now, let's look at some of the stats that Roger McCreary was able to accumulate, or some of the accomplishments on a large scale. In 2019, he led his team in passes defense, right? His team. 2020, he led his team in interceptions, right? Then 2021, he was All-American, first team, All-SEC first team. He led his team in interceptions, and then the whole SEC, the conference that most NFL players, come from. Yeah, he led the whole conference, SEC, in passes defense. And then what that tells me is he's always around the ball. That's what a lot of people say. What's the difference in passes defensed and interceptions? A lot of it is you're being targeted a lot. So there could be a respect factor there. Like, people think they can catch on you because you're getting a lot of opportunities. Like for me, when I played, I didn't have many passes defensed, but later on in my career, it was very hard for me to go a game or two without getting an interception later in the career when it finally clicked for me. But and that's the difference. I feel like when you're closer to the receivers, obviously you have that opportunity. When you're always targeted, you can get those passes defense, and then obviously you want to get your hands on the ball and create a turnover. But Roger McCreary is really a very simple evaluation, and that's why I think that it may have surprised some people. He was my 6th or 7th ranked cornerback, so at that range, it's a bit rich in a way because Andrew Booth was available still, who was my number 2 corner. But I think Roger McCreary fits the culture of the Tennessee Titans at this standpoint a little bit better. And Andrew Booth has some injury issues. But like I said, Roger McCreary is a very easy eval, SEC level battle scars, and experience. He literally every week he was playing against an NFL receiver because, Jamison Williams, Treylon Burks, Wan'Dale Robinson. Like, he played against all of these receivers, and then the receivers of year past, the Devontae Smiths. Like, he's had the gauntlet of NFL receivers, and he's held his own. Breaking down in space is another issue in terms of making tackles, but he's super smart. It was a very surprising pick because at that range you want a guy that is going to be like top 5 in the league at some point. I think he might crack top 10 best cornerback sometime in his career. But overall, I gave that pick a B plus. I don't necessarily like the value because he's their 6th rated corner at the top of the 2nd. So that means 5 corners would have had to be taken in the 1st, which I think it's almost there. So it's not a bad pick. I think moving forward, the comparison of who he's replacing is Janoris Jenkins, which I think that's a very fair comp, actually. You could say Asante Samuels to some degree. Asante definitely got to the ball a little bit better, secured it, and actually caught it. And I think that's the next step for McCreary, is to actually turn those passes defense into interception. So without further ado, I think it's a great pick, B+. Stay tuned for the next video coming up on the next prospect that the Tennessee Titans took.